Teeth brushed, face washed. Let me see. Perfect. Now, would you like a song or a story? Story, let me think. Once upon a time, in a land called Echo, there lived a little princess who hadn't any voice at all. Doctors came from all around trying to figure out how to make the princess speak. They gave lessons and tried exercises, but no sound would ever come from between her lips. They brought dragons and bears and all sorts of terrible things to try to scare her into a scream, but still, no noise, not even a whisper. Silent princess, a princess who barely seemed to be there at all. So quiet was she. The king and queen were in despair, wondering what could be the matter with their little daughter. She wouldn't speak, she wouldn't scream. Then one day, the jester came to them and said, "For crying out loud, don't scare the girl, make her laugh." The king and queen had never thought of that. So they gathered all the comics and jesters from across the land, and they offered 1,000 pounds of gold to whoever could make the princess laugh. So all the comics tried, and all the jesters tried, but they couldn't make her laugh. And when everyone left, the king and queen were still in distress. What else were they to do? Every comic in the land has come, and she doesn't even seem mildly tickled, the queen lamented. And then they got it. They had a plan. That night, when the king and queen were putting their daughter to bed, they surprised her with a flood of tickles. The little girl tried hard to hold it in, but then, all of a sudden, she was laughing so hard her face turned red and tears came out of her eyes. Stop, the princess laughed. Let me catch my breath. The king and queen were in awe, having never heard their daughter's voice before. Sweetheart, the queen asked, if you could laugh, why didn't you laugh before? I didn't get the jokes, the princess shrugged. If you had a voice, why didn't you scream before? The king asked. I wasn't scared, the princess replied. If you could speak, why didn't you speak before? The queen finally asked, fully perplexed. I didn't have anything to say. The princess was entirely confused. If you wanted me to speak, why didn't you ask? I had everything I wanted provided for, but if there was something you wanted, why didn't you use your voice? The king and queen were baffled. And yet, it was so painfully simple. Who would have thought what trouble could have been saved with a word? And the end. It's time for you to go to bed now. Close your eyes. Go to sleep. No talking, it's bedtime. Shh. I love you.